I got everything off the front. This side's clear of everything. This side right here, I think I got everything off. I gotta take my little vacuum line off. Now I still have to do on both sides all the electrical. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the intake off while make it a little bit easier. So yeah, let me go ahead and pull this intake. All right, well, this is progressing, tearing the motor down. One thing I've noticed is it's a lot dirtier than I was expecting it to be. I mean, I rebuilt this, what, last winter? I don't know, I have to double check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just been 1 year I've been running, 1 year. But it's a lot dirtier than I was expecting. I don't get a whole lot of, I mean, I do have that piece. I don't know where that grit just came from. But, yeah, it's dirtier than I thought it would be. That's a little crusty, a little muddy. Everything in the heads looks fine. Up here just looked like dark oil. Nothing out of the ordinary. I do have new rockers there. I've already got them on hand, so I'll be replacing the rockers. I do have a new high pressure oil pump that I'm going to put on here. And while I got this off, I've got a 10 AN fitting that I'm going to poke a hole in right there, and I'm going to put that fitting there for my oil drain. I think I'm pretty much done with the tear down phase. I got everything tore apart. I think I'm to the point now where I'm ready to actually do the work that I wanted. And that was my original task, was to pull all these piston rings and start gapping them. So I got it all pulled. I did order one of those little cylinder hones, the one with all the balls, not the one with the 3 blades on it, but or 3 stones. Can't really tell from these pictures, but there's not a whole lot of cross hatching. I always hear that the cross hatching helps seat the rings better, and there's none. I mean, I wouldn't think I could feel it. I wouldn't think that I'd be able to feel the cross hatch, but I know all the YouTube and TV shows I've watched, you can actually see it, and I can't see it. So I went ahead and ordered one of those, and so I could probably start working on pulling and gapping the rings. I just won't put them back in the cylinders for the final time yet. Good Lord, I'm ready to drive this thing. Alright, so my first piston I pulled out. I've already cleaned the face off, just used a stainless brush there. Probably better if I use brass, but I ain't got a brass brush. But anyways, just cleaned all that carbon and crap off. Yeah. But I got to looking at things, and I remember last time I built this in the truck motor, I remember you get a little dot. Mine have a little dot to tell you the orientation. So this will actually be the dot represents the top of the ring. So whenever you put it on, it will be pointing to the top of the piston ring. So dot goes to the top. But as I was just cleaning these rings up and everything, both rings have dots. Google will tell you that some of them have the word top on it, and some of them are actually chamfered, meaning there's a little bevel. I can't find a bevel on mine. Mine all appear to be square cut. Could be wrong. My eyesight is crap, but even with my glasses on, I couldn't tell a bevel. But one thing I did notice as I pulled them off was these there's a little bit of a size difference here. Not so much diameter, but if you look at the thickness of these things, or the width, maybe that's the correct word. I pulled this one off first, so that's the top ring, and this wider one is going to be the bottom ring. But then again, I start second guessing myself. Google doesn't tell me. Off of this is I got to looking at the piston itself. If you look at that gap there, the second ring does look like it's deeper. So that's going to tell me that my second, I don't know if you can tell or not, but it looks like my second ring will be the wider one. And I do believe that that is the second one that I pulled off. All right, well, I got all of them gapped. It went extremely fast. The top ring I gapped to, I don't know if you can read this, it was 0.2025. And the second one I added a 0.02, so 0.027. Yeah, that's it. Now, one other reason why it went so fast, every single one of these rings were already gapped. So when I say gapped, I mean I did not have to grind any of these rings. Top one was over the 0.25. I only had one that was a very tight fit, was not something I felt needed to get grinded, but there was one that was probably right at 0.025. The rest of them were maybe a couple thousand more. Same with the second ring. I was able to get the 0.027 on all of them. So that definitely made things go a lot faster. So what am I waiting for now before I can stick all these cylinders in is I need that little hone. I need to hone all these cylinder walls before putting these in for the final time. So last night I went ahead and put some pistons in cylinder 1, 3, 5, and 7. Tonight I'll go ahead and put in my 2, 4, 6, 8 cylinders. I got all 8 cylinders in place. Hopefully the right cylinders and the right holes. All I'm going to do now is torque these down. First thing I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and put the I don't know what you call it, windage tray. We'll put that in there, followed by the my oil pickup. And I will not put the oil pan on yet, only because I need to get my oil timing, or not the oil, but the timing cover. I still need to get it. I got a guy welding an oil drain onto the front of it. So here's a quick tech tip. All right, these little guides and or trays, I don't know what they're really called, but it's what holds the lifters down in there. They are oriented differently. You got a little spot right here. It's flat across there, so when you go ahead and take your tray, hold on a second. So when you go ahead and get your tray and you start putting all your lifters in there like this, if you're actually matching, this came out of cylinder 1, I want to put it back in cylinder 1, make sure that this is this little thing right here is oriented correctly, otherwise you could be going into the second cylinder. I ended up getting new trays. Ooh, shit, my camera's falling. I ended up getting new trays. I think the only purpose of these trays is to help, you notice they're a little square right here. I think it's just to help orient and make sure that these don't spin. I've also heard that if you pull these trays out and your lifters don't come out with it, it's time to replace them. It's relatively cheap. Even for me, it's relatively cheap. So, all right, so this is the after. Quite a bit of scrubbing, purple power, stainless brushes. I even took the old garden hose to it after that purple power, make sure I got that stuff off. Right or wrong, that's what I did. So I'm gonna put it on now, and I'll slather it with all sorts of oil. I got a little oil can. I'll oil everything in here, and probably go in the intake and the exhaust ports here just to spray some WD-40, and we'll see how she turns out. All right, so I've got the motor pretty much put together. I did install something I didn't put on here, but I installed some upgraded trunnions, rocker arms, new oil pump. This is my high pressure oil pump. Other than that, I mean, nothing really going on here. I got the intake. This thing was a bear to clean. It still looks pretty gnarly in there. All right, finally got my timing chain cover, little fitting welded up on front there. This is all upside down, like there. That's going to be my oil drain for the turbo. Right now, I've just barely got this. It's loosely installed. We'll go ahead and get my oil pan put in place, loosely bolted in place as well. And then what I need to do is set the balancer pulley, the crank pulley on there. And that's the reason I leave it all loose. I'll get this thing heated up and slid on there. That way I know that this will shift and slide where it needs to fit evenly on this. I'm always worried that if I torque this down and it's slightly pushed to one side, yeah, the pulley may go on there, but it may put some stress on one side of this. This way, with everything loose, it'll want to slide and center itself. Okay, back to where I was. Timing chain cover. I decided to go ahead and tighten it up before the oil pan. I forgot that I wanted to put some of this sealant right here on each corner of the oil pan. There's going to be some little grooves right there. Supposedly the oil pan gasket goes all around these corners. However, I still wanted to put a little dab of sealant right there. So I wanted to go ahead and put my balancer on there before that, so I didn't have to mess around with it later. So put it on the same way I took it off. I took a torch, heated up this barrel with it laying on the ground here, just rolled it around, evenly heating up the center of this pulley. The heat causes it to expand out, making it a lot easier to slide onto the crank. I don't have a pulley puller or a crank removal, whatever you want to call it. So one thing I learned is make sure you got enough heat on it. It's going to be hot to the touch. I got me some thicker leather gloves on there So what happened this time was I didn't quite get it hot enough, and it went about halfway, and it started, the crank was cooling off the pulley more, and it was starting to set up right there. I went ahead and slammed the bolt on there. You try to use it to drive it on, and it went maybe another half the distance, so I still had probably a quarter of the way to go. Pulled the torch back out, heated it up some more, used the block of wood right across here and beat it with a dead blow, trying to drive it further back. So lesson learned, go ahead and heat this thing up all the way. That way it's not gonna stop halfway. So a little tech tip for you. Let me go ahead and get this black sealant, this gasket Permex, I don't remember, whatever, this gasket material or gasket dope. Get it on these corners, throw the new gasket down, throw the oil pan on. Let's do it. All right, it's back together. Yeah, oil pan, timing cover, balancer. I went ahead and threw a coat of paint on it. Might still be a little, yeah, you see some wet spots in there. All right, next, I've been, I dropped the transmission, moved it as far forward as I could. Can't really see it, but there's a couple of spots up there that I've already beat on the tunnel. What I've been trying to do is, so what I'm trying to do is make more room for these fittings for my transmission lines. I've never been too thrilled about how far they stick out. They stick out probably a good 1.5 to 2 inches beyond the little embossed casing. So if I can get it slid over a little bit more to the side and I can get an angle over there, I plan on just taking the old splitting maul, the sledge into that splitting maul, and get a little more oomph to it and get a little more clearance. If I'm not mistaken, I also need to look up in there. There's another plug right here for my transmission that was riding on the tunnel as well. So 4L80 will fit in here, but it is a tight fit, and be prepared to do a little massaging. So you can see a couple of these wear marks. This is one spot that I've already beat. That's more from blocks of wood glancing off the side where I didn't get a good clear or straight on smack. I got some spots up here. You see little white paint pen marks. That was me marking what needed to get done. I can't even see where the other one, yeah, there it is, all the way back there. This is the other, that plug right there. It's hard to see, but this, the back plug and the front plug. This would be the front one. Way back here is the back one. So let me, I can't remember what, oh, this right here I think is from this stupid dipstick maybe? I can't remember. Either way, I'm gonna beat whatever I need to beat. Whoo-wee. That was a lot harder than I was expecting. Did a lot better job than I was expecting, really. Smashed quite a bit right here. Got a couple good smacks up there. It's hard to tell. I got a couple, 3 or 4 good licks back there, but I just didn't have enough leverage. So, but I think I got a little more clearance here as well as right here. I'm gonna go ahead and get some paint and cover up these bare spots. All right, well, transmission's up in place. Did a little bit of restoration with a can of Rust-Oleum. Cleaned things up a little bit. I guess it's time to, let's see if we can just motor in here. This will be fun doing it by myself. Not the first time, but still exciting as always. All right, she's in there. As always, it was a pain in the freaking ass. I was able to get them mated up pretty quickly, and not that much difficulty. Problem I was getting to is putting your bolts in. Problem I was running into was getting these bolts installed. Note to self, there's one hole in your bell mouth right here. A bolt doesn't go there. I tried for a good 30 minutes to try to thread that thing in without looking at it, and yeah, it ain't going. So I got two down here. You got one top dead center, one just a little bit off to it, and I believe two more underneath it. So I'm kind of holding off on doing the intake. Let's just start with the accessories. Throw that front accessory drive on and we'll go from there. Another tech tip. Before you put this big old honking piece of aluminum on there, struggling holding it and starting threads, put your freaking water pump on first. That way you ain't got to pull this off and you ain't got to mess around with your daggum power steering fitting. It's not the right size. All right, I got just about everything on there that I'm willing to put on right away. I finally got the water pump, front accessories, including the alternator, little power steering, hooked the power steering up, and I even got the starter installed down there. So I'm pretty much calling the motor installed. What do I got? Hey, get down. All right, so what do I got? I got a whole pile of wire, and then I'm going to have to reinstall, and obviously the hot side and cold side of the turbo, the whole turbo deal. Oh, and my little heater hoses down there. Another little side quest I've got going here is I need to figure out where I'm putting my coils. Stock coils get mounted up on top of here, loop down, and go to your plug. Well, they fit great in between when your headers go down, but when everything comes up into a big old log style manifold, I'm doing the up and forward, so I got a big old header running right across here. I am not going to be able to get my coil wires wrapped around them and hit. I'm trying to figure out where to relocate my coils to. Coils, this side I could probably put it on the frame right here. I got enough room down here I think I could put mount the coils down here. I'll probably have to fabricate a new bracket, but I'd probably be able to do it there. Can't go too far back with this plate that I'm mounting the coils on, because my exhaust is going right down here. So might be something where I go ahead and set up the hot side, put it together, and see how much room I've actually got. And like I said, electrical is going to be the last thing, only because I got a few things I got to modify. My wideband, the AEM little wideband sensor, instead of it getting routed and getting pushed way down there to exhaust pipe, it's going to be somewhere over here. Whether it's right here, it's going to be in this general vicinity right here. The regular O2, the narrow band, they're going to go, you remember I got this up and forward. I'm going to mount them things right around here. I'm hoping to be able to point it like right here. The other side's actually going to be tighter. This is tight. I don't know where I'm going to put the O2 sensor. I'll probably put it like right here, diving into the header. But as far as my coils, I don't know where I'm mounting the coils over here. I'm going to probably try to do the same thing with a plate mounted to those motor mounts. That's another video. I'm calling this one done. Nothing really exciting on this video, but it's just so y'all can see what I'm going through. If anybody's never done it before, you may have learned something. All right, let me play around with see if I can fabricate something for these coils. I think that's the next thing I'm working on. All right, later.